Good Thursday afternoon from the Oklahoman's Video Studio. I'm Dave Morris. I'm joined by Marty Loberg. There's a program going on at First Presbyterian up in Edmond over the next 4 Fridays in April that he's going to outline for us. And Marty, it's a busy day for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to stop by and chat with us.
Thanks for the invitation. It's great to be here, and I know there's a great need in the community to reach out to those who have maybe been laid off or kind of results of some of the downsizing that's been in the economy last few months. And I know there's a lot of people trying to maybe reach out for some resources, and First Presbyterian Church wanted to maybe be able to offer some resources to help men out that are going through that.
So over the next 4 weeks, 4 Fridays, it's a series called Pain to Peace. And as you outlined there, it's a way for, no matter what sort of crisis you're going through, there's a way of coping, or here's some mechanisms that you can go through. Give us an outline of what you guys will be discussing over the next 4 weeks there.
Yeah, I mean, primarily it was kind of initiated to deal with, again, men that were dealing with some of the...
Because a lot of our neighbors here in the community are dealing with, hey, there's a change, there's a relocation of jobs or loss of jobs.
But it's also going to cover a lot of other topics. People go through all sorts of different pain type things. There's grief and loss, there's, health diagnoses, there's going through divorce, there's going through, parenting issues, lots of different things that can cause pain in people's life. Life throws a lot of curves, doesn't it? A lot of unexpected ups and downs as you kind of travel through the journey of life. So we're going to kind of deal with the generic sort of sense of what is pain, and then how to get to a place of peace in the midst of that pain.
Is that important when you're dealing with a crisis, to strive to find some peace?
Yeah, and a lot of times, it's really trying to find, places that have true peace. A lot of times we might try to get away and do a vacation, or sometimes, maybe it is buy a new object or toy. And those things can bring some temporary satisfaction or relief, but try to find those true anchor points, those true priorities in our life that really do sustain us, long term, through different times of suffering or different times of pain that we have to endure and go through.
So is that a matter of introspective, to kind of do some soul searching, if you will, looking inside of what makes you strong, what makes you tick, versus the material? Hey, there's a car, midlife crisis type Band-Aid.
Yeah. More
important to look inside.
Yeah, I kind of think it's kind of in three kind of ways. First, it's kind of looking at that inside stuff and trying to find, what I'll be referring to as your truth anchors, and trying to find those true anchor points that in the midst of the turmoil and tumultuous sides of life, where are those anchor points? Where are those key convictions or beliefs, attitudes, hopes, wishes, wants, desires. I think the second thing is really trying to find stable support groups, and really try to find those external resources, whether it be in a spouse, a family, member, friends, different agencies or other groups, counselor, pastor, really trying to establish those different outside resources. And then the last thing is really trying to be, flexible with change, and really trying to, reinvent yourself, look yourself in the mirror, and to take all the things that you have and try to figure out how to apply it in maybe some new ways, especially for maybe just a season. Maybe I have to adapt, and I can always go back to what I loved or what I was used to doing, but for a season I might have to come up with some new possibilities. And those things really kind of, I think, get us in a more peaceful place.
So in a job change situation, maybe that's a different skill set or something that you weren't necessarily trained or thought that you would be involved with.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, for instance, like leadership or administration, or, maybe you do have a skill set with, working with people. There's a lot of different jobs you can do that in. It's just trying to retool it, kind of reinterpret it in a different capacity.
You mentioned anchor points as part of your first point there. Do those anchor points vary by person?
Well, of course, the church is offering it, and so, a big part of trying to find those anchor points, a lot of times, especially from a church perspective, is trying to find, that deep sense of value in who you are as far as your, faith beliefs, who you see God in relationship to your pain and suffering. And so, trying to find those places of faith that, you can anchor into. Some of it is just the value and truth of having a good, healthy self-esteem, and that you do, see the gifts and talents that you have in a way that you don't get down on yourself, you don't beat yourself up too much, but you really do try to find that inner strength and value to move forward. So we're going to look at examining both those things, and then also really taking stock and inventory of what other people say about you. To hear those compliments and praises from maybe a mentor or a spouse or a family member, and really trying to tap into those and remind yourself who you are in the midst of the uncertainties of life.
And there's some value in that feedback that you're getting from those people. Marty, what do you do? You'll be facilitating this discussion. Perhaps people should be aware of who is Marty.
Yeah. I have a very interesting history. I've been everything from a whitewater rafting and backpacking guide in Colorado.
Of course, right?
Yeah. And for a bunch of years, I did a lot of working with youth in the Colorado Rocky Mountains, and used to take people on backpacking and whitewater trips. Got to raft the Grand Canyon myself twice, which was quite the adventure. But then I've always had a heart for people. I actually grew up as a pastor's kid, got involved in all sorts of different ministry and service opportunities throughout my childhood, and then continued on in that work. And I did a lot of youth ministry, college ministry at the University of Colorado in Boulder, and I got involved in pastoral ministry and worked at a church and kept digging deeper and deeper into people's pain. And a lot of times, church staffs can't really give the time and energy dealing with some sort of pain issues. So I became a licensed professional counselor, and that's my primary practice right now. Is I do a lot of counseling in a private setting, working with a lot of different groups, organizations, churches, and the primary focus I deal with is people's pain and helping them get unstuck and hopefully get to a better place.
Well, that's very important, because certainly everybody gets stuck at some point in your life. You're going to face some sort of crisis, and you outline that, whether it's job loss, divorce, illness. There's always just roadblocks and hurdles in life.
Yeah.
This Pain to Peace course, it's Fridays, Friday mornings, we should say. It's breakfast, right? 6:30 to 7:30?
It's not for the faint of heart. It's at 6:30, but they offer a wonderful breakfast and invite you to come down and join the men there at First Presbyterian Church and get your bellies full and hopefully your hearts full too.
Free, open to anyone?
Open to anyone and free.
Just simply show up and...
Yep.
All right, very good. Pain to Peace, First Presbyterian in Edmond, which is over on Rankin. Marty, enjoyed the conversation. Great to meet you. Best of luck with this series.
Yeah, thank you.